They can't all be Avengers Endgame. Hey guys, I'm Rebecca from WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst movies of 2019 so far. That means we're looking at the most disappointing movies of 2019 released before the end of May. However, we're only looking at major productions or high-profile indie films. Alright guys, get your pitchforks out. Number 10, The Professor.
From here on out, we're gonna do things very, very differently.
It'd seem that the golden age of Johnny Depp films has come and gone. Once synonymous with classic, quirky performances like those found in Edward Scissorhands or Benny and June, the actor has more recently found himself playing the leading man in such critically panned films as Mordecai and, most recently, The Professor. In the latter, Depp plays Richard Brown, a college lecturer who, upon being given a terminal diagnosis and just 6 months to live, begins to, well, behave like he's only got 6 months to live.
What happened to us, Richard?
What happened to us? Life.
Damn it, Richard, those are crystal.
You can see what the film is attempting to do, but it's all style with very little substance or heart, further weighed down by thin characters.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Number 9, Miss Bala.
My name is
I know who you are. I know who you are.
It's no secret that Gina Rodriguez can act, as evidenced by her star-making role as the titular heroine in the hit CW series Jane the Virgin. Considering her talents, we're very happy to see she's getting opportunities on the big screen. We just wish they were better than this one. Barely recouping its modest $15 million budget, Miss Bala failed to make much of an impression on filmgoers or critics. The issue? It just feels bland. From the action sequences to the way the plot progresses, the movie plays out in a rather paint-by-numbers fashion. The story follows an LA makeup artist who gets tangled up in Tijuana's criminal underworld while on vacation. Sadly, it never capitalizes on that potentially compelling premise.
I'm gonna find Suzu. Okay, I promise you.
Number 8, After.
Call and text every day.
Mom, it's college. It's not a survival course.
Unless you're a fan of overly cheesy, unself-conscious, lovesick teen drama, this one is difficult to watch. An adaptation of a 2014 teen romance novel by the same name, After made a tidy little profit at the box office, but certainly did not win over critics. The film marches self-assuredly through the well-trod territory of good girl falls for bad boy, as it takes audiences through the melodramatic romance between Tessa and Hardin. Riddled with cliches and at times offensively generic, After feels like the lowest common denominator of its genre. Or as Frank Scheck of The Hollywood Reporter perhaps put it best, quote, "Come back, Twilight, all is forgiven." Ouch.
What are you dreaming about?
Number 7, The Hustle.
Impressive. I'm a con artist. Sisters in arms.
Given the resumes of its two talented leads, this 2019 comedy could have and should have been a good time at the movies. Unfortunately, it seems to have gone the way of so many remakes by failing to capture the magic and spirit that made its predecessor special. A remake of the 1988 film Dirty Rotten Scoundrels starring Steve Martin and Michael Caine, The Hustle sees Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson as Josephine and Penny, two con artists looking to score big.
We're not nice women. We're con artists.
Though the premise is a tried and proven one, The Hustle does little to update it, while also making the cardinal comedy sin of having most of its humor fall flat.
Trashy dressing. Did it again.
Number 6, Polar.
I got your message.
Which one? The first or the 15th?
Between films like Keanu Reeves' John Wick and Charlize Theron's Atomic Blonde, we seem to be experiencing a back-to-basics action movie renaissance. Sadly, this Netflix original is not up there. Which is really too bad, as star Mads Mikkelsen is an actor with more than his fair share of superb performances under his belt. Adapted from the hit Dark Horse web series and graphic novels of the same name, Polar follows Duncan Visla, also known as the Black Kaiser, an assassin about to retire who's drawn back into the fray when he himself is targeted by assassins.
What was your job?
I was in the funeral business.
It's a familiar premise, but one that still has plenty of mileage. Unfortunately, the film is all style and no substance, and the style in question is garish, over the top, and clumsy.
Figured it wouldn't kill me.
Number 5, Ugly Dolls.
Good morning, Uglyville!
Everything about this film had us worried from the very beginning of its marketing campaign. Unfortunately, it lived up to our low expectations. The film made music its priority by assembling a cast better known for singing than acting, and leading a cast that includes the likes of Nick Jonas, Janelle Monáe, Pitbull, and Blake Shelton is Kelly Clarkson. Now, in her defense, from Justin to Kelly, this is not. Rather than being overtly grating and a total cringe fest, Ugly Dolls is simply boring and uninspired.
What's perfection?
It's sincere and it tries hard, but ultimately it feels, first and foremost, like a reminder of the fact that CGI animation has gotten relatively cheap and easy to produce. Only the youngest viewers will be entertained.
Well, that's just hurtful.
Number 4, a Madea family funeral.
That ain't funny.
If you find a formula that's both profitable and replicable, why stop? That seems to be the mentality that drives the Madea franchise, which, as of 2019, numbers 11 films spanning roughly 15 years. In this most recent installment, which is something of a return to the status quo after 2 Halloween-themed movies, old friends and family members have to deal with their secrets and interpersonal issues when a member of the group dies unexpectedly.
Somebody just here one day and then just drop damn dead the next.
Now, the films in this franchise have been almost universally panned by critics, and a Madea family funeral is no exception. The only silver lining? Madea creator, director, and actor Tyler Perry has deemed this to be the end of the character. Here's hoping he's a man of his word.
Daddy, I want y'all to stop, okay? Just stop it.
Number 3, replicas.
Stand by to initiate neural imprint.
Keanu Reeves has been killing it over the last few years as John Wick, the not-so-retired assassin who just wants to be left alone with his dog. It's this recent renewed success for the actor that makes Replicas feel so hilariously bad, as we have something great to compare it to. Replicas is a sci-fi thriller that, like so many films in the genre, sounds promising on paper, but fails to deliver on the big screen.
I still don't know why it happens. If I don't know what causes it, how can I be certain it won't happen to them?
The movie follows neuroscientist William Foster, who, after the tragic death of his wife and children on a family trip, uses his research to transfer their minds into newly cloned bodies. Riddled with plot holes, terrible character choices, and utterly devoid of heart, Replicas is doomed to be almost immediately forgotten.
Nobody can know what happened.
Number 2, Hellboy.
I'm on your side!
With all due respect to David Harbour, who actually did a solid job in the leading role considering the material he was given, this reboot felt off from the very start. The film was all over the place in terms of tone, and most of the other actors involved seemed like they were phoning it in, as if they knew all too well that this film was DOA.
Okay, I'd appreciate a prophecy with more relatable stakes.
The R rating was an opportunity to really lean into the source material. But unfortunately, what we got instead were paper-thin versions of Mike Mignola's beloved stories with extra buckets of blood. So now that the reboot has arrived and flopped, can we finally get Guillermo del Toro's third Hellboy film starring Ron Perlman? Thanks.
Are you serious?
So, do you think that Dark Phoenix would be on this list if it had been released in May? Who's to say? Anyway, we've got some dishonorable mentions coming up, after which you'll get to see what number 1 is. And I'll give you a little clue. The person who stars in this movie has already appeared on this list. Ouch. Let's see.
Is this...
What, don't your arms work?
They don't.
Hey, what about you, sweetie?
Why do you need a signature?
I don't need a signature. My PO needs a signature.
The oldest category is 18 plus.
We're 18 plus. 18 plus 50.
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1, Serenity.
I'll get that.
Sorry, Anne Hathaway, we promise we're not picking on you. Even A-listers have bad movies, and unfortunately, 2019 just doesn't seem to be Hathaway's year. Serenity had the makings of the next great thriller. It boasted an all-star cast including Matthew McConaughey, Diane Lane, Jason Clarke, and Jimon Honsoo, and was directed by Stephen Knight, whose 2013 film Locke should be considered mandatory viewing for any cinephile. Unfortunately, Serenity was a misfire in every sense.
I didn't catch fish all day, I'd find a way to kill you.
Self-serious to the point of being laughable, and convoluted where it aimed to be complex, this film was a train wreck. It could have gone on to become a truly legendary flop had more people actually heard about it.
Exactly how many years have I been here, Jack?
The thing about Serenity is I feel like I never knew what that movie was about at all. And you know when the trailers are bad that the movie's gonna be terrible. And I don't get it because there's so much talent in that cast. Anyway, let us know in the comments what the worst movie you've seen so far this year is. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check out this other video if you want to watch something to cleanse your palate.